Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Can you guys see back there? There's Julian. Hi. He's with his papa. He's going to listen to the story. Good morning. I'd love to say hi back to you. So I'm so glad you're here. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Tuesday the 12th. Yes. I knew that because I had to write it in the title of the story, but I had to remember. How are we doing? Oh, good morning, hearts and hugs. I hope things are a little less cranky in the morning time. Hi, Kathy and Logan. Good morning, good morning. Wait one more second and then we'll get started. Hi, Naomi and Daniel. Oh, all right. Naomi's having a 100 kind of day. I love that. And you're still happy that your tooth came out. Wonderful. Wonderful news. I love it. All right, I think we're going to get started. So when we started Storytime, I don't think any of us thought it would go this long. And so I still have some stories, but we're going to start to mix them in with some stories from some of my favorite Bible stories. So we're going to do some Bible stories sometimes. We're going to do picture books another time. We're going to kind of do that because we're going to be here for a little bit longer. So we need to figure it out. So the one I want to talk about today is the very beginning of all the things. And so I'm going to read about it a little bit in one place and then a little bit in another place, okay? All right, so this is called The Story and the Song. And it has this picture of this garden here and some people on a bicycle down here. So I'm going to hold the picture here so you can see it. You. God wrote it in the sky and on the earth and under the sea. God wrote God's message everywhere. Because God created everything in God's world to reflect God like a mirror, to show us what God is like, to help us know God, to make our hearts sing. The way a kitten chases her tail, the way red poppies grow wild, the way a dolphin swims. And God put it into words too and wrote it in a book called the Bible. Now, some people think the Bible is a book of rules telling you what you should and shouldn't do. The Bible certainly does have some rules in it. It shows you how life works best. But the Bible isn't mainly about you and what you should be doing. It's about God and what God has done. Other people think the Bible is a book of heroes, showing you people you should copy. The Bible does have some heroes in it, but as you'll soon find out, most of the people in the Bible aren't heroes at all. They make some big mistakes, and sometimes on purpose. They get afraid and run away. Sometimes they're downright mean. So here's some of the people in the Bible. We've got Noah, Moses, David, Leah, and Daniel on this side. And then we have Mary, Peter, Joseph, Abraham, and Saul on this side. Can you see Joseph's coat? We're going to learn more about that another day. The Bible isn't a book of rules or a book of heroes. The Bible is most of all a story, capital S. It's an adventure story about a young hero who comes from a far country to win back lost treasure. It's a love story about a brave prince who leaves his palace, his throne, everything, to rescue the one he loves. It's like the most wonderful fairy tales that has come true in real life. Because the best thing about the story is it's true. There's lots of stories in the Bible, but all the stories are telling one big story. The story of how God loves his children and comes to rescue them. It takes the whole Bible to tell this story. And at the center of the story, there is a baby. Every story in the Bible whispers his name. He is like the missing piece in a puzzle, the piece that makes all the other pieces fit together, and suddenly you can see a beautiful picture. And this is no ordinary baby. This is the child upon whom everything would depend. This is the child who would one day, but wait. Our story starts where all good stories start, right at the very beginning. Look at the story, okay? All right, then we're going to switch over here. So the very beginning Logan, I'm so glad you're having 100,000 kind of day and that you're happy about Julian. He's really happy that you're happy too. And hi, Izzy and Catherine. Sorry, I just saw that. I'm so glad you guys are here. All right, so we're going to start at the very beginning, okay? In the beginning, before time began, there was nothing. Nothing to see, nothing to hear, nothing to touch or smell. There was only silence. God moved alone through the inky darkness. This is just darkness here. Then God created the heavens and the earth was covered by water. Let there be light, God said. It was faint at first, a flicker in the darkness that grew and grew. It became a glowing ball that pushed the gloom aside, soft and yellow, then red, pink, and dazzling gold. God delighted in its loveliness. The changing light seemed to have a life of its own, and God called it day. When the light faded into darkness, he named it night. It was the very first day of the world. There's the light and the darkness. On the second day, when the light came back, God made the sky. It was a soft, bright blue, and it hung over the earth like a canopy. Isn't that pretty? On the third day of the world, God drew back the choppy water so that the solid ground appeared. The great pools of water, blue like the sky and shimmering in the light, he named seas. He called the big, muddy areas of ground land. The land was flat and bare, so God shaped it into mountains, plains, and deep valleys. Under God's guiding hand, greenery covered the earth. Grasses and plants of every size, shape, and color took root. Sweet-smelling flowers blossomed, sticky buds opened, and vines coiled upwards. Trees sprang from the ground, their branches reaching for the sky, growing tall and heavy with fruit. The earth had become lush and green and brimmed with plant life. So here's all the plants and the flowers. On the fourth day, God said, "Let there be signs to mark the day and night." He made the fiery sun to show the day and the gentle moon to shine in the night. During the day, the moon hid in the shadows. At night, the sun turned its golden face away, while the moon cast its silvery beams over the land. God also brightened the night sky with millions upon millions of tiny glittering stars. God felt pleased with the beautiful world God had created. God's new world was a peaceful land filled with flowers and trees, rushing rivers, but there were no birds to perch in the trees. There were no bees to buzz from flower to flower, no fish to leap through the waves. The only sounds were the whisper of the wind among the leaves and the waves lapping the shores. So there's the sun and the moon. On the fifth day, God filled the waters with living creatures. Suddenly the sea teemed with fish that moved as one. God made whales that sent great plumes of spray high up into the sky, and dolphins that leaped playfully in and out of the waves. God made jellyfish that shimmered like moonlight, shellfish that sparkled like precious stones, and tiny crabs that waved their claws on the golden sands. There's a whale and some dolphins and jellyfish and other fish and starfish and a turtle and little crabs. Then God said, "Let there be creatures of the air that will fill the sky with life." There began a great fluttering of feathers and flapping of wings, and a cloud of birds and insects of all shapes and sizes rose into the sky. Tiny chirruping sparrows mingled with colorful parakeets and silent gliding hawks. The sky was alive with color and sound as the twittering birds found shelter among the trees and bushes, discovered fruit, and washed their feathers in the bright streams. Their happy songs filled God's ears, and God blessed them. Look at all those birds. They're beautiful. On the sixth day of the world, God said, "Now let there be creatures on the land." And the earth began to shake with the thunder of 1,000 feet. The world hummed with voices large and small, jostling to be heard. Regal lions prowled beside mighty elephants and rhinos. Monkeys swung through the trees, cackling to each other, and bears lumbered through the undergrowth. Fierce animals paced side by side with the gentlest of God's creatures. Everyone, from the tiny shrews to the tall giraffes, was looking for a new home. Some liked the cool of the snowy mountains, and some preferred the heat of the rainforests. Snakes slithered into jungles, crocodiles hid in rivers, and squirrels climbed tall trees. The world pulsed with life. God looked around and was happy with what God saw, but something was missing. It's all of our animals. I wonder what was missing. Who will care for all the animals? God asked God's self. God took handfuls of earth and shaped a creature who looked like God. God breathed life into him and called him man. Then he took a rib from the man, and with the rib God created woman. The man and woman opened their eyes and stared around them in wonder. Slowly they stretched their arms and legs and rose to their feet. They stood in front of God, holding hands, as beautiful and innocent as the new world. God blessed them and named the man Adam and the woman Eve. Your job is to look after the wonders I have created, God said. You will rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and every creature on the earth. You will have fruit to eat and water to drink. I want you to enjoy your life here. So there's the fishies down there. And Adam and Eve. These are our first characters here. God's work was done. The world was every bit as beautiful as God had imagined. It was the seventh day, and God rested. There's the world with all the animals in it, and Adam and Eve over there, and the fish and the birds, and the waters and the mountains. And so tomorrow, our story continues, but that's where we're going to leave it for today, okay? So I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll kind of finish this little story about the beginning, and then we'll do a different story the day after that. So I hope you have a great day and enjoy some sunshine today. I love you all so much. I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 for another story, okay? Bye.